Hi, everybody. I'm Stone Freeman, and we're pleased to be joined today by the Executive Director of the Rhode Island Interscholastic League. It's Mike Lunney. Mike, this has been a challenging, calendar year for the Interscholastic League. But as we moved into 2021, there were some promising signs, right? The Interscholastic League and really the rest of the country and world coming out of this global pandemic. But the spring, there was an optimistic start for everybody at the Interscholastic League. I'm curious as to what challenges maybe that were in the fall that you didn't have to experience in the spring, and how successful that spring season was for the student athletes, coaches, and rest of the Interscholastic League here in the state of Rhode Island.
Yeah, Stone. So last spring was actually, really good. I mean, obviously we went outside. Things were really staggered for us with our non-traditional seasons. We had, 4 athletic seasons last year instead of 3. And but once we hit the spring season, that last one, we pushed all the way to the end of June, and but things were getting better. Vaccinations started rolling out. We saw some really great crowds at our championship events because spectators were allowed back. So yeah, there was a much more positive atmosphere as we ended the school year, and there was a lot of hope for us to be able to just put COVID behind us completely. And unfortunately, with the variant and some other challenges, this year has been affected as well. So we are still experiencing some issues, but the fall's been going well, all in all, and we're just we're moving towards our fall championships in November.
Yeah, one last thing just about the spring season. I know that if we rewind back to this time last year, you guys were kind of in a hybrid model too, with different sports playing in different seasons and whatnot. I'm just curious how that ended up finishing up too. I know you said the spring season was a success, but was there any type of consistency that kind of will carry over from that other hybrid model, or are we seeing more traditionally the old school type of interscholastic league model that we've seen before in the fall and spring seasons?
Yeah, we're back to our 3 traditional seasons. So every sport is in their own season, which is thankfully for us, that's a good thing. We had wrestling, in the springtime last year, which obviously that's a winter sport, and we even actually saw a couple of wrestling matches that were done outside. So I don't know if we'll ever see that again. But there was a lot of creative things that were going on last year just to make sure that every kid got their opportunity to play their sport. In that third season, that middle season, we had girls volleyball, which is usually a fall sport, and also football, which obviously is a fall sport. So it was a quick turnaround with football season this year, and for that matter, we're back to our normal time slots for each sports season, and we anticipate that that's going to be okay for the rest of the year as well.
Excellent. Now, I know everybody at the Interscholastic League is really excited to obviously get back to some type of normalcy, but a lot of big initiatives that have been started here in the Ocean State by you guys. Tell me a little bit more about the Student Leadership Conference that student athletes will get a chance to participate in this year.
Yeah, so next week we've got a Student Leadership Conference, and we normally do this, but in particular this time we're partnering with the Rhode Island Army National Guard, and we're actually going to go over to Camp Fogarty and have a student leadership conference. So we're going to have representatives from about 20 plus schools in our membership, and they're going to spend the day with the Army National Guard. There's a confidence course, challenge courses. We're going to talk about leadership and accountability and all those kinds of things, which are really popular among our kids in our membership. So we're excited about that. I know the kids are. It's been a couple of years since we've been able to gather them together and really start talking about things like leadership again. So it's an exciting time for that. This is the 50th anniversary of Title IX. So there's some national initiatives that are coming out from the National Federation of High Schools that we're going to be participating in. We've got our annual principals breakfast, which we haven't done in a couple of years. We're going to be gathering them as again, that leadership group, the administration, coaches, officials, so many people did such a great job during the pandemic and are still doing a great job. So being able to have the opportunity to bring them together and share a little fellowship and talk about some of the things we've got planned for this year is going to be an important thing to get back on our calendar.
Yeah, coming back a little bit to that leadership conference for the student athletes, if you could put yourself in the situation or predicament for a student athlete, what does an experience like that give to a student athlete here in the Ocean State to be able to get together with maybe people that on the field are their rivals, but they come together to kind of examine how to be a better leader? What does that bring to help student athletes out?
Yeah, in the end, I mean, we are a membership, so we are kind of like a family, even though we are competing against each other, and sometimes they only see each other, during competition, and being able to get student leaders together in that environment, and really get a taste of what other communities are like and other schools are like is really good, because it bonds them as the school year goes on, and we always talk about um, representing their schools and their communities in the right way. So it gives us an opportunity to talk a little bit about sportsmanship and leadership and accountability and things that are important for every team.
You also briefly mentioned the 50th anniversary of Title IX, which obviously is so huge to student athletes across really the country. But elaborate a little bit more on that. I feel like 50 years later, still equality and things of that nature have never been more important. What things are the Rhode Island Interscholastic League kind of getting involved in, or what other initiatives might be there that are going to help students learn a little bit more about the history of Title IX?
Yeah, I think number one, that diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that we're dealing with as a country as a whole, and social issues that are out there. So obviously, we mirror what's going on in society. So one of the things that we like to say is that, we're a collection of all different types of schools from all different types of environments. So it's important for us to have conversation, have dialogue, to talk about what's going on, and have a little bit better understanding of each other, and how we're going to move forward in the future. So, sports is a great way to bring people together, bring communities together. We see that a lot. And I think, our difference is our strength, in a lot of ways. So I don't see any other environment where you can bring every walk of life together in a competitive environment like this, and compete and enjoy competition. So I think that's one of the greatest things about high school sports. So, those are the kind of things that we're going to be talking about. And just as far as we've come, there's obviously a long way to go. But I think it starts with dialogue. It starts with understanding. And that's what we intend to do this year.
Yeah, that's of course critically important. Like mentioned, over the last 50 years, but seems like again history repeats itself. It's so important now. Last thing for you, Mike. Again, I hate to keep coming back to COVID, but last fall was just so different. Now we're back to traditional seasons, football on Friday nights. What have you been most excited to see, return this fall? Is it that sense of normalcy? Is it Friday night lights? What about this fall season seems like we're back to normal for you and everybody at the Interscholastic League?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's still some COVID things that are going on, but for the most part, our seasons are going very well. But I think the most fun has been just seeing the students back in the stands and spectators back supporting their communities, not only at football games, but obviously field hockey,
Sure.
cross country, soccer. It's just that, things have come back alive. And although we were preserving participation opportunities last year, the experience of going out and having the community come out and the school come out and support you really wasn't there, because we just couldn't do it during the COVID period. So seeing that come back is very exciting. I think we've seen great crowds, great enthusiasm as we head into our championship. So hopefully it's going to continue to improve all the way throughout the year.
Mike, thanks as always for joining us. Before I let you go, though, I'm curious as to where fans can find out more information about the Rhode Island Interscholastic League into the fall and eventual spring seasons too.
Yeah, well, they can go to our website, and it's www.ril.org. And all the information is there, and it also would take you to our social media platforms as well, for Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. And we put a lot of effort into putting out a lot of the things that we do that are outside of the world of just competition and championships. So, we encourage everybody to follow us and support high school athletics in our state.
That's awesome. Thank you again. That's the executive director of the Rhode Island Interscholastic League, Mike Lunney. Again, the Rhode Island Interscholastic League, great atmosphere at all games that they create, and just a great opportunity for student athletes to get involved and participate on and off the field. Thank you again to Mike. I'm Stone Freeman for YourView.com.